Hello everybody, Phil here. Just want to show you a quick update to the Autoload file that I built out. And this Autoload update here involves CSS3 fonts. CSS3 fonts are awesome because they allow you to use non-web safe fonts on your websites. This website, for example, here is using a font that is a non-web safe font. But through the magic of the new CSS3 at font face rule, you can now use it. As you can see, I can highlight it just like regular fonts, and this particular font comes in different styles. You got your bold, you also got your regular, and then you got your thin here. And let me show you a couple other CSS3 fonts. For example, this right here is another CSS3 font, or just a regular font, but through CSS3 I can actually include them. Again, here's another one. The way you would go about doing this normally is in your CSS file or your head section. You would use the @font face rule, okay, and then you would do font family, and then you can name it whatever you want. And then you would give it the source, and then a fallback for Internet Explorer because it doesn't recognize the TTF format. So you would use something like EOT format, and you just do that as a fallback. And then finally, when you go to actually implement the font, you would just select. You would use the selector, and then just do the font family as if you would a normal font using the name that you provided in the @font face rule. So using one font maybe not that big of a deal, but in this case, this web page here uses like 10 different fonts. Here, let me show you the actual folder where the fonts are. So this right here is the folder where the fonts are. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You got 11 fonts being used, and after a while, you know, it sucks. You know, you got to go in and you got to take the time and code in all those references to those fonts. So the Autoload class here that you watched in the previous video, and if you haven't seen that video, you should watch it. Autoloads these fonts for you as well now, and it does a couple of awesome things other than the fact that it just autoloads them for you. So some things that you should know before you implement it is that there should be no spaces in the font name. So for example, this quicksand here, I just replaced that space with the underscore, but just make sure there's no spaces. That's it. So how do you use it? Well, the new method is called auto-include CSS3 fonts, and it's got one argument, and in that argument you place the path in which the folder where the fonts are located. So in my case, I've located my fonts in the public fonts section, and in there are all my fonts that I'm going to use. Okay, so then once you've implemented that class, you're gonna want to call the auto include CSS3 fonts in the head section of your web page. You're gonna want to echo it out because it returns the string. So you can store it in a variable and use it some other place. I don't know, whatever you want to do. In this case, I'm just echoing it out directly in the head here. So let's take a look at it, what it looks like. So here it does its own style, so you don't have to wrap it in a style tag. As you can see, it does all the including for me. I would have had to have done that. I would have had to hand code that. Now there's something that it does that is really cool. So I'm gonna actually include some new fonts here. These are some fonts that I have on the side here, and as you can see, I have the TTF format for the Carnival Freak Show and the B font here, but I also have the EOT format, which is what Windows and IE would use. Okay, and then again, I have the fallback font for this one too. So not only does it include it, but what it looks for is it looks for fonts that are font files that are called the same thing, but they have different extensions. So what it's going to do, it's going to actually use the same font names as fallbacks. So let me show you here. In this case, I don't have any fallbacks for this, but I'm going to go ahead and go into this other folder where I have all these hundreds of fonts here, and I'm just going to paste them in there. And so here they are, and again, you can tell that these files here are not being recognized by my computer. That's fine, not a problem. So now, I did not write any code. Okay, so all I did was just drop those files in there. Now I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page. Let's take a peek here in the head section. Okay, so the very first one, B, it also, by the way, the font family, it names it the name of the file. So here, let's take a look here. So the font family B, so as you can see here, it automatically did the fallback for me. So here's the EOT format, and then comma for fallback for the TTF format. Beautiful, man. You can just, it does them for you. It's so ridiculously easy. So let me go ahead and actually implement it here. I'm gonna change the first paragraph here. So let me go into my views section, and let's go into the index here, which would be the index. Okay, so so this is a visual showcase. As you can see, that's where it's at. So all I gotta do now is I'm gonna just write it here in inline here. I'm gonna go style, and font family, and then I believe it was called B. Okay, go ahead and save that, refresh, and look at that, done. Granted, it's not the most pretty font, but it's trying. Let me try the other one here. I think the other one was called a Carnival Freak Show. Let me just make sure what it was called here. Remember, it names the font the file. That's what it names it. And don't forget that you, oh, see, it's got a weird name. Don't forget that you can't have any spaces either. If you want to mod the code, that's cool. Go ahead. So it'll handle spaces, but as of this version, it does not handle spaces. Okay, so that's all I got to do. So I save it, and then let's refresh here. And again, it's got the font, and that's it. It does the rest for you. All you got to do is drop in your font files, and done. All right, thank you guys for watching. If you like this, please give me a thumbs up. Download the source code for the class at the link below. Thank you.